We spent a week in the little red dot, Singapore.
Join us as we enjoy the food, sightseeing, shopping, and more food that Singapore has to offer.
First up is Singapore's Chinatown. Adjacent to the street market and the Buddhist temple is the Chinatown complex, the first of Singapore's signature hawker centers we visited.
This is the original location of the Lao Fun Hong Kong soya sauce chicken rice and noodle stall, which was the first hawker stall to win a Michelin star back in 2016.
Now renamed to simply Hawker Chan, there are several locations across Singapore, Asia, and beyond, but many people still line up for the original stall here in Chinatown, and they are certainly not the only source of deliciousness in Chinatown.
Next up is the famous Raffles Hotel, open since 1887 and one of the most recognizable luxury hotels in the world. The interior of the Raffles is only open to hotel guests, but visitors can still wander the grounds and gift shop, and more importantly, visit the Long Bar, the birthplace of the Singapore Sling cocktail.
This is also about the only place in Singapore where it's appropriate to toss your peanut shells on the ground.
Down by Marina Bay is the Singapore Flyer observation wheel. There is a fun and air-conditioned museum on your way up to the wheel, offering a bit of orientation in history before you board.
The ride around takes 30 minutes. We would suggest buying tickets online in advance, as this lets you skip the line on site. We timed our entry to be up top during sunset and got some great views of all the main Marina Bay attractions.
"30 minutes on a wheel can make you hungry, so a short walk up the promenade is Glutton's Bay. While this may look like a more touristy hawker center, don't count it out. They're open late and they had some of the best satay we found during the trip.
We took a morning walk around Marina Bay and up the Singapore River to visit the Merlion statue and explore on foot before the day heated up. At Clark Quay, you can purchase tickets on the spot for a river cruise.
Seeing the city from the water is something you shouldn't miss.
Gardens by the Bay is a must-do attraction for any first-time visitor to Singapore, and it took us most of a day to see it all.
Tickets were a bit confusing to us at first. Entering the gardens themselves is free, but you will need tickets to access the 2 biodomes or to go up to the Super Tree Observatory. We definitely suggest planning and buying in advance, as some parts of the gardens have closure dates or have limited capacity.
We ended up buying combo tickets to the Cloud Forest and Flower Dome, and then added on the Super Tree Observatory and OCBC Skyway. The observatory and skyway were definitely worth it to see the gardens, Marina Bay, and downtown Singapore from up high. We started our day outside in the gardens, observatory, and skyway. This let us time our visit to the Cloud Forest for midday as it was starting to heat up outside. It is refreshingly cold in here, making it a great place to spend the hottest part of the day.
Also, don't mind the weird alien things in this video. An Avatar-related exhibition was on during our visit that made some things extra fun. The Flower Dome at Gardens by the Bay is more of an artistic greenhouse versus the Cloud Forest's massive mountain and waterfall display. We loved seeing all the wood carvings and other scenes set up amongst the plants and flowers themselves, and Instagram photo ops were available everywhere.
Every night, the Super Tree Grove had one last trick up its trunks.
We came back for the Garden Rhapsody Sound and Light Show at the Super Tree Grove. This takes place every night at 7:45 and 8:45 and was such a fun way to end one of our evenings.
The music is often themed as well. Think Indiana Jones or Star Wars soundtracks, which unfortunately we can't play here. The iconic Marina Bay Sands was another evening destination for us.
Marina Bay Sands is in fact not a spaceship docked atop 3 towers with a boarding bridge, but it's primarily a hotel, shopping mall, and casino. You can purchase tickets to the Sky Park observation deck on top of Marina Bay Sands, and you can also see the Super Tree Light Show from up there.
The Sky Park itself has some light drinks and snacks, and there's also a restaurant up here, but you definitely need an advance reservation to dine.
And back at ground level, there's a light and water show in the bay called Spectra a couple times each night.
Back to daytime activities. A ride on the MRT, Singapore's subway system, took us up to the Arab Street corridor. Singapore's geography and history has brought together a unique mix of cultures and ethnicities. It was fun and interesting to explore such a different area just a few blocks from the main tourist center.
Getting back to food, it's hard to go wrong anywhere in Singapore. A few blocks from Arab Street, we found laksa still cooked over charcoal at a neighborhood food center. And we stumbled across a nasi lemak stall at the Singapore Management University. It was all good.
Our nasi lemak detour was actually on the way to the National Museum of Singapore. The focus here is Singapore's history and culture, and the exhibits are immersive and deeply educational. We typically aren't the biggest museum people, but this was a good one, especially if you're not familiar with Singapore's history and evolution as a nation.
for an even closer look at Singapore's role in World War II, it's worth a quick bus or car ride out to the former Ford Factory Museum. This is the actual site where the British surrendered to the Japanese in 1942, and it's been transformed into a national monument and series of exhibits.
Since we live in the eastern United States, it was fascinating to see this museum and see the war from a perspective more oriented around Asia and the Pacific Theater.
Okay, so back to food. Here's the Newton Food Center, made famous by the Crazy Rich Asians movie. Like all hawker centers, the food we tried here was excellent and worth the visit, and it's right off the MRT and easy to get to.
We noticed that there seemed to be a broader variety of stalls and types of food here at Newton, and the outdoor seating area is super nice. Other than food, Singapore wouldn't be Singapore without shopping, and Orchard Road is the place to do it. Every high-end store you can think of is here, along with and incorporated within the multiple connected shopping malls that make up the street.
This is a fun area to wander around, and there are plenty of restaurants and bars of all types and price points mixed in too. For a major and very condensed city, Singapore makes a point to keep nature and green spaces well incorporated. The most significant of these is the Singapore Botanic Gardens.
These gardens are huge, and they contain one of only 2 tropical rainforests in the world located within a major city.
Entry to the gardens is free, and there's plenty to explore, though a visit to the National Orchid Garden within the park requires a ticket. The Orchid Garden was well worth it. There's also a cool climate greenhouse there if you need to cool off for a bit. And here's a chicken. Food.
Okay, fine, more food. Here's the Maxwell Food Center located close to Chinatown. This hawker center was our favorite, with a couple famous chicken rice stalls that lived up to their reputation, along with a wide variety of noodles.
Between noodle dishes, you can head out to Mount Faber for a nice view and to catch the cable cars out to Sentosa Island.
During the ride, you get great views of the city from a slightly different perspective, and the cable cars make a stop on top of the Vivo City MRT station, so you can also pick them up there if you don't want to trek up the mountain by foot or car.
We didn't actually spend time in Sentosa during our visit, but there's a whole nother set of attractions like a Universal Studios theme park and various resorts, golf courses, and beaches to explore.
Last but certainly not least is Singapore's Changi Airport. Either when you arrive or as you're departing, it's worth building in a little extra time to visit the Jewel, a mall and attraction of its own right within the airport itself.
We bought tickets to the Canopy Park and Canopy Bridge, which were fun diversions, and there's a few others available that are more suited to kids. The tickets aren't too expensive to begin with, but you can also get a small discount if you sign up for the free Changi Rewards program ahead of time.
And just like that, our week in Singapore was over. There's so much more to see and do, and we cannot wait to go back. Thanks for watching!